Welcome to the LivBtr podcast. I'm Erica Spiegelman, addiction and wellness specialist and author, and along with me, I have my co-host, Jay Siano, a New York-based serial entrepreneur, business scaling expert, and wellness aficionado. We are here to inspire, encourage growth, and most importantly, to live better. Welcome to the LivBtr podcast. Our guest today is Brian Mazza, a well-respected New York-based entrepreneur, creator, and innovator in the health and fitness industry. His extensive background in the restaurant, hospitality, fashion, fitness, and personal development spaces have landed him on the cover of Men's Health magazine. Most importantly, Brian is a proud father of his two boys and husband to CNN correspondent Chole. He is a frequent contributor to various Food Network shows. We can't wait to talk to Brian about all of his ventures. Welcome to the LivBtr podcast. I'm Erica Spiegelman, addiction, wellness specialist, and author. And along with me, I have my dear friend Jay Siano, a New York-based serial entrepreneur, business scaling expert, and wellness aficionado. We are here today to inspire, encourage growth, and most importantly, to live better.
Today we have my dear friend Brian Mazza, a well-respected New York-based entrepreneur, creator, and innovator in the health and fitness industry. His extensive background in the restaurant, hospitality, fashion, fitness, and personal development spaces have landed him on the cover of Men's Health magazine. He has also been featured in Men's Fitness, GQ, Esquire, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. This list keeps going on, by the way, so I'm going to stop now just to expedite the process. I'm so very proud of my friend. He is a frequent contributor to various Food Network channels as well. Most importantly, Brian is a proud father to two boys, Leo and Luke, and husband to CNN correspondent Chole. And most important for me, Brian is responsible for making it acceptable for people like myself to wear leggings, like I am right now, Brian.
The OG days.
The OG days. So let's dive right in. The first question that we have for you, Brian, and obviously this is a more conversational podcast, but what inspires you to live better?
That's a great question. I think if you have kids, right, and if you're not trying to live better just for the fact that you have children or a spouse, I understand. Let me rephrase it. If you have kids and you're married, you should automatically want to live a better life. But you also have to be selfish in this sense of wanting to live a better life for yourself. And I'm inspired every day that I get to wake up and chase becoming better. That's what really, really inspires me, right? Like, it's a given if you have kids and you're married to live a better life, because that is a duty that you have to do. But a lot of people don't ever really look within, in my opinion, to live a better life for themselves. You have one body. You have one time on this earth. It's unacceptable not to do certain things for yourself. And I think a lot of people don't fully understand that, and they think selfish is bad. There is things in life that are selfishly bad, but you have to do this in order to be happier, to make people around you better. And that starts with really taking care of yourself and doing the things that sometimes you don't want to necessarily do every day in order to live a better life.
Yeah, Brian, I totally agree with all of that. And, as a therapist, I have a private practice, and I'll have people coming to me wanting to live better, wanting to start this path, but yet don't have the self-love, this positive self-regard that I think you're talking about. Because when, if we can't love ourselves and see that we need to put ourselves first, that we matter, that we have worth, that we are valued, that we can contribute to this world in some way, then it's so hard to start. So my question for you is, have you always had this kind of positive self-regard or self-love, or has there been a journey? Even with myself, I began to love myself once I started treating myself more kindly, and doing things that I was proud of that helped me, kind of like a domino effect, go into that kind of more, I think, authentic path where I was honoring who I was. Was there something that propelled you into that, or was that always there for you?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I seeing my dad as a kid, always was a very confident man, a very, very nice man, still is to this day and in incredible shape to this day. But I've always noticed him really loving himself. And it's not a bad thing. I think people have this misconception of like, if you love yourself, you're cocky or you're arrogant or you're full of yourself, right?
Yeah, no, not that. Yeah.
You can be full of yourself, but also be a good person, right? I think you should try to be full of yourself and really love who you are.
Right.
That's amazing. That's happiness. That's living free. That's being okay with who you are, right? It's freedom. So I think I grew up in a confident household with my dad, seeing just my brother and my sister being really good athletes and everything, and just seeing them excel and doing what they were doing. And I was a very, very good athlete growing up. So I think just by building confidence that way, I was able to really fall in love with being confident and fall in love with who I was as a person. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm human, right? So there's times that go on in my life where I'm down on myself, and there's times where there's adversity that I've dealt with. And,
of course,
not everything's not perfect, but at the root of it, in the core of it, I'm very happy with who I am as a human being. And I think that is hard for a lot of people because either the way they were raised or what they've gone through. There's so many layers to that onion, right? And the layer cake of just like peeling it back, that there's so many things that can really deter people from liking who they are, right? Like if you have a parent who abused you or isn't emotionally there, you have trauma and you have to deal with that, right? And you have to try to figure that out. So that's an outside factor coming in and blocking your zen or blocking your mojo of what you're trying to do. Yeah. And that's something that you have to deal with. And unfortunately, I never dealt with any of that stuff. So I was able to really kind of be who I wanted to be as a kid. And I think unconditional love and support from my parents growing up was a really big thing that made me feel comfortable in who I wanted to be. Do I wish my parents were a little harder on me growing up? Yes. And I've had that conversation recently with them. But I think I could have done more as an athlete if they were a bit harder on me. But I think I just love who I am. I love living this life. I love getting after it every day. I love the good things and the bad things that have happened to me because that has shaped me. I've learned to deal with adversity and make that not something in a bad sense of just like dealing with it and fighting through it and making adversity your best friend in a sense.
Right.
And I think you go through a lot of these things where you callous your mind and callous your vision and perception of certain things where it's like you become a fighter and you earn it. And I think I've earned a lot of things in my life that gave me the respect for myself that I need, that I can look at myself in the mirror now and be happy, where maybe there were some times in my life growing up out of college and my previous career and previous things going on where I was not happy with myself.
So Brian, I have the benefit of obviously knowing you for a long time now and being a part of your journey, and so much of your journey has inspired my journey. And, before we hit record, we could have talked for hours as always. And we got into, talking a little bit about your relationship with alcohol. Erica has her own relationship with alcohol. I'm, just committed to being alcohol free in 23. And you very much know, kind of my relationship with alcohol and starting to remove it from my life. When you said a lot of what you just said, I thought about, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. And I think you demonstrate that so much in your daily discipline, your routine, the really hard shit that you do to yourself every day. And I think a lot of your sense of self and confidence comes from, doing that hard work, right? And that's where positive energy and momentum kind of comes from. But I'm curious, like, where was that kind of pivotal moment for you when you were like, I'm going all in, like I'm removing alcohol, I'm taking everything to the next level? Because honestly, I'm just jumping on the bandwagon here. Like I just got to that stage of my life, and it's later on in life for me, but I feel fucking great. But what was it for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I was a partner in restaurants and nightclubs, right? And I was like the party guy. I was the dude who had Sunday night parties at his house. I loved it. It was great. I would honestly not trade it in for anything in the world. It was one of the best times of my life. I never had a drinking problem. I never had a drug problem. I was able to balance it. Hope my parents are listening to this. I was able to balance that and be okay with it, right? I could turn it on and turn it off. I was such a big athlete in my mind and also on the field where it was such a major part of my life. And when I didn't accomplish my goal of going professional in soccer, I had to obviously pivot. And I got into men's fashion and women's fashion. And then I got into nightlife, the nightlife world. And I saw a huge opportunity there where, okay, I could figure this out and make some money from it. And then when I became a partner and created an idea with my old partner, that's when I was like really in the scene and went buck wild. But it's okay when you're 20, 22, 23, 24, 20. It's okay. I'm not saying I'm encouraging that for people. Go have fun when you're at those ages and figure your shit out. Honestly, there was a place called Tone House that really changed my view on being a high performer. It was a studio in 2011, 2012 that came out that was on a second floor on 14th between 6th and 7th or 5th and 6th, whatever. And it was a small studio, but it was the most intense workout I've been part of since college. And it brought me back to being an athlete again. So it wasn't like anything bad happened to me with alcohol. Did I used to make some bad decisions? 100%. I suffered through some bad situations, 100%. Did I always get out of them? Luckily, yes. Well, when I started training at this place, it brought me back to a really happy place. Like, I get chills talking about it, right? That this place was such a major part of my pivot. Now, everyone just thinks of pivot as like a career or no, there's pivots in like lifestyle.
Yeah, of course.
And people don't fully understand that, right? It's like with dieting. Well, it's like all in or not sometimes. Like, people don't live life that way, right? Like, if you're going to buy a car, it's not like I'm going to go buy a Ferrari or not have a car, right? You have to like... You have to take small steps. So I was training at Tone House. Again, brought me back to being an animal again. And I was like, okay, I can't train at this level that I want to train at if I'm going to drink Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
So people listening, trying to slow down their alcohol consumption, start slow. I didn't just stop drinking cold turkey. I said, okay, I'm not going to drink Thursday and Friday. I'm going to drink Saturday and Sunday. Because I still want to train Thursday and Friday, which are really hard days at the facility, and I want to get it done. That was working for a while. But then I was like, wow, I want to go on Sundays now before going to the bar. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to drink Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right? Then Sundays are coming. Like, holy shit, I want to go every day to this place because I love the endorphins that I'm getting. And I love getting shredded and getting in this shape. And people were noticing it in the hospitality world, right? Jay could probably tell you, I was probably the first guy to wear tights.
Hey, listen, it's part of my intro, man.
Right? And people would make fun of me all the time. I was just feeling so confident from this facility in this place that my buddy Zoe owned. So then it was like, you know what? I'm going to do 30 days not drinking. And then I would drink a couple of days. Then it was like, you know what? I'm going to do 60 no alcohol. And then that worked, and I was really feeling good. And then went out with my friends, and I still had the restaurants and bars at the time, so I would still party.
Yeah. And
then I was like, and this is what really happened after doing all this Tone House stuff. So it was a playoff football weekend, actually probably like this weekend coming up of the games in football. And this was, 7 years ago. And I got annihilated. Like, all my boys came, all my friends were there. And I made plans to go to a movie with my wife at it was like a late movie, 9:30, 10. And then I got completely blasted and didn't go to the movie. Like, I didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, we're going with another couple. Yeah. So we went with another couple. She went with another couple.
Yeah.
And went to the movie. And I got home at 1:32. And my excuse was, listen, I'm at the bar, I'm at my restaurant. Like, I have to be here, I have to entertain, which usually was fine. But when I made that mistake, I came home and I really felt shitty about the decision I made. And that morning, I had probably the worst hangover I've ever had in my life. And I said to her, I'm done drinking. It's a wrap.
Wow.
I was like, should have done that. My bad. I had to stop drinking because because of that decision that I made that night not to show up, but also because hangover is the worst fucking feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I can't train tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that was like your biggest punishment on top of letting your wife down.
And I was like, and I felt like I let myself down too.
Yeah.
But this is the self-betrayal we talk about sometimes too. We talk about self-betrayal in a sense. People wake up feeling they betrayed themselves, or they're not living their best life, or they let someone down. And that feeling is something to just be aware of, you know?
Yeah, but also, to be honest with you, I think this goes back to self-love in a sense. And this might sound crazy, but a lot of people, if they hurt somebody or do something to somebody, they get over that quick.
Yeah.
My bad. They accept their apology and you move on. But I felt like I really let myself down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like enough, dude. Like, whatever.
That's the worst feeling in the world, really. Like, you know, but it's so easy to justify like what happened to you, right? Like when I think of what you just said, it's like immediately you have this excuse, a really good excuse, because it's your business, right? And I've done so much of that with Danielle, where like I made very poor decisions and would justify those decisions and look back on it. And I'm just honestly like ashamed of myself, you know?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
So I stopped drinking. I just stopped. And then it wasn't until recently that, so once I stopped, my life dramatically became better. I made a lot more money, got a lot more access to stuff, got on the cover of Men's Health twice. Not saying that was because of not drinking, but I was just putting myself in the best positions to succeed.
Sure. I'm sure it has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Eliminating any excuse not to train and not to show up when I need to show up for shit.
Right.
You look through the lens with clarity. It's really out of control.
The compound effects, though, like just think about it from the perspective of when you started slowing down and you were only drinking a few nights a week, basically. When you take the actual drinking component and then the recovery to, you know, like it really ends up taking up a lot of time during your week to be operating at peak performance. So it is a big compound effect. Like, you know, that's what I've noticed now. And that's why I was just like, I'm all in, man. That and reading the book, Turning Pro, it like game changer for me.
But to both of you also, I mean, like for me, understanding the brain and how alcohol truly affects your biology, it attaches to the tissues in your nervous system. Like it's a depressant, it causes anxiety, it causes your brain to be saturated. It does cause, you know, all these other things too, which is like, I know we say, oh, we feel better, we feel more clear, but there's really something going on in your body that's changing when you remove alcohol, you know? And even for those people, like you said, all clients that say, well, I only drink 2 nights a week. Well, those 2 nights a week, you binge drink, it takes your body 2 or 3 days to recover, and then you're finally feeling clear, and then you're back to that drinking day again. So there really isn't a chance for you to optimize your life. There isn't really a chance for you to really make these decisions that you could make with like longer periods of sobriety, I think.
Well, it's the same thing when people diet, right?
Yeah.
When they don't diet. So let's talk about when people diet. So they'll be like, Monday through Friday, I eat super clean and I'm at my levels, my numbers, right? Maintaining whatever they want to maintain, or if they're in deficit because they want to lose weight. Then Saturday and Sunday comes along. Wait, are we going to record this? We can edit this, right?
Yeah.
Dude, your watch came. Give it. Oh, dude, so sick. Show Mariana. Go open it. It came, dude. Amazon. All right, close that door, baby. I'll talk to you. Yep. So let's talk about when people diet, right? He's been waiting for this watch for like 12 hours. Oh my God.
My thing. Oh my God.
It's like,
yeah. No pain.
Let's talk about when people diet, right? So people diet, say they want to lose weight. So they'll be in deficit from say Monday to Friday, or maintaining, they're perfect, they're clean. And then let's talk about the restaurants, right? We have a sports bar, playoffs coming up. So then from Friday night or Saturday to Sunday night, they eat so much more than they're supposed to in terrible food that they will probably not get back to their basic level by Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow.
Right? So when that happens, it's the same thing with booze. If you're pounding drinks on the weekend because it's the weekend, you're not getting back to normal levels of your body chemically until Wednesday or Thursday. And then guess what happens again? You do it fucking Saturday and Sunday again.
Yeah.
So
true.
People don't fully understand it. Like, your body doesn't really have a clock with it. It's not like at midnight it resets and you could just do it again. It carries.
Right.
So I'm actually curious about, like, do you track your sleep? Are you like really from a recovery standpoint and everything else? Like we were talking about Whoop and Aura rings and things of that nature.
Sure.
What do you do with regard to your sleep?
So I'm tracking it currently with my Whoop for the month. That's just because of an experiment that we're doing, and we could talk about it.
Yeah.
My Coros running watch, well, I know. Oh my God, dude, hold on.
Yeah. Bring them on.
Picture the rainbow? Okay, dude, I love you. Come say hi to Jay. Come say hi. All right, come say hi really quick, then I gotta get back to my pocket. Just come say hi. Show him your fate. Show him your fate.
Oh, look at that. What's up, dude?
All right.
What do you
So I'm tracking my sleep currently with Whoop for the month, right? And we're doing it for an experiment, and we could talk about this experiment in a minute. But my Coros watch that I wear every day for running and just overall fitness tracks my sleep.
Oh, wow. Coros.
I found that when I used to track my sleep more consistently, it used to stress me out.
That's where I'm at.
When I used to have my Whoop, it would say I wasn't recovered, but I felt really good. So it mentally made me like, what's going on? So I don't track it currently on an everyday basis. I just know from doing this long enough in this space, things that I could be doing throughout the day that are going to make me feel better tomorrow. And if I stick to those,
you're good. Yeah.
It's actually super interesting that you say that, because when I look at my Whoop data from the night before, like first thing in the morning, I have this preconceived notion of how hard I'm going to go that day. And it kind of like sets me off, with this thing in my head. And I don't think it's the best thing to do or get too stuck on the data.
But it's also not realistic, right? Because I have two little kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. My 3-year-old screams for me all the time. And I go lay in his Batman car bed where I sleep on plastic in the corner where I know I'm not getting good sleep. So like,
but then it's right. Yeah, but I do the same. I have a 3 and a 4-year-old, and sometimes when she wakes up in the middle of the night, it'll tell me I slept great, and I know I didn't. So you have to you have to give it a little. Nothing is perfect. I don't think. Some of those things are wrong once in a while. But Brian, I wanted to ask you. Just wanted to shift gears for a second. And ask you, with you and your wife are both so busy. Your wife, Chole, she has a amazing career, and you both are doing so many things individually. And just as somebody who has young kids myself too, and I'm married, and we all have children. And how do you guys, connect and keep your relationship as a priority? I mean, it's like, it is kind of we have to kind of water our garden when it comes to like our relationships first, because our children, they'll pick up if we're not feeling close and good as a family. So just curious to hear about you guys and about your relationship and how that
that's really difficult, honest. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's very difficult. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We have our ups and downs, and we are so busy personally in our own businesses, and we have a business together, and it's a lot, right? I think there's a mutual level of respect when it comes to business where I understand, like, for instance, yesterday, she was in all day, and this is during the Alec Baldwin issue going on, and she knows, like, listen, Alec Baldwin's thing is going to get charged, most likely, and he got charged, and I'm going to be on air all night. And I'm like, okay. So we have help, obviously, with our nanny, thank God. And it's like she has to leave at a certain time, then I have to be able to take over for the kids. But my day doesn't really stop. So
Yes.
I have to stop my day in order to tend to my children, which I love to do. But then she texted me that, hey, I'm not coming home tonight because I got to be back on air at 4:30. So it's just, I think when you have two individuals that are extremely busy at different times, one person's going to give more than the other person.
Right.
And I think you have to understand that. And if you do understand that, and I didn't understand that for a while.
That's good to understand. You're right. Yeah.
If you can understand that, there's no room for resentment.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand that, resentment comes into play.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Like, she got home today from work at, I think, 1:00, and just got a call that she has to go back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's not like I'm going to go rip it up tonight, but I'm home. So
communication, it just sounds like communicating all this and communicating expectations. I think
I'm not a good communicator with my wife as much as I should be. I communicate a lot better to a guy like Jay or to my trainer Jacob or my dad or my mom or my brother. So I have to do a better job at communicating that. But we try to, when we can fit in time, we fit in time. And that's just, it's different in my opinion, than the way my parents. My dad was a school teacher. My mom was a hairdresser. My dad was home at 3:00 every day, and his phone.
Right.
The dynamics have changed so much. Yeah. I mean, and you travel a lot, Brian. So on top of you going to Alaska in a week, or
Yeah,
insane.
I'm going to Alaska, and I hope I don't die, but I'm going to Alaska, and
I'll be fine.
It's just like, life is so different, and people can't ever go back to saying, well, my parents didn't do it this way. Well, listen, that time is over.
Right.
This is a on-demand time. People, Jay, you probably know this, like, if I feel like sometimes if I don't answer this email to someone or get back to this person, I don't get this bag.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if we have to do it, there's no tomorrow. There's no 1 hour sometimes. And that might not be the healthiest thing in the world.
For better or worse. Yeah.
Comes with the territory, though. Like, if you want to be performing at a really high level, there's so many sacrifices that come along with it. It's, and I said to somebody, a mutual friend, actually, Brian, that we have yesterday, we were talking, and she's like, it's people think that, like, this stuff is really glamorous. I'm like, yeah, the people who aren't actually doing it think it's really glamorous. Like, when you see somebody who's fully committed to every area of their life, and, Brian, I've always commended you for, you are always talking about how important it is to be a father and a husband. And, you put that front and center, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people are not, a lot of high performing people are not really it's not so important that they spend the amount of time with their kids as you do. And it's definitely had an impact on me, man. Like, I used to not be around much for dinner, or I'd be traveling and gone for many nights. Now I changed my whole thing where it's super important to me to be there for my kids as much as I possibly can and grow with them.
Yeah.
You have to look at it like this in a sense, right? Like, anyone who's mega successful and makes big bucks, I'm talking big bucks, they're probably not around as much.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, maybe they're around a little bit more now because there's different ways to do it. Understood. And maybe I'll never make big bucks. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that because I'm around a lot as a dad.
Yeah.
And that means a lot. That means a lot more to me than big bucks. My dad never made big bucks, ever. But he was around all the time, and he's the happiest human being I've ever met in my life because he's happy with himself. So it goes back to self-love.
Yeah.
You don't really need all the shit we want and all the shit we go get. We don't.
Right.
For sure.
Well, it doesn't equate. It doesn't mean. It doesn't make you happy to have a bunch of things.
There's a lot of people with a lot of money who are very unhappy,
miserable. Yeah. But I think all this comes down to one more thing that I think helps people live better is to know your values. I always say this: live congruently with your values. If you value something in your heart, act that way, speak that way, show up for that. Like if you value honesty, be honest. If you value family, put time with your family. If you value power and money, great. We can all value different things, but know your values and then live congruently, because that truly will bring that contentment that if we're, living incongruently, that breeds so much depression and anxiety. And, people need to be aware of that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, life can end tomorrow. And I live by that all the time. Like, it can end after the Zoom, right? Like, some weird shit could happen. You never know. And I want to know, well, I won't know this, I'll be dead. But I want to know that if it ends now, that I was the best father to these kids I possibly could be.
Yeah.
And by the way, like for the people who are hearing this or seeing this now, we've actually cut out, Brittany has her work cut out for her, because we've cut out a few clips of, was that Leo?
Yeah, Leo.
All right, Leo jumping in and showing dad his watch, which, by the way, dude, like, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Not getting extremely frustrated when you're in this situation and be like, get the hell out of here. What are you doing?
Funny you just said that, because I have to send you this woman I've been following on IG now, and it's about parenting.
I've been following her.
Blonde lady?
Yeah, like walks in the streets talking about like the kids.
So she did something recently where she...
We have to have her on, Erica.
Dr. Becky Ken. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. She was like, next time your kid interrupts a Zoom or a call, instead of shooing them like out or get out of, whatever, embrace it. And it might not be the most professional thing, which it's not, right? But whatever. Embrace them. Tell them what you're doing. Show them what you're doing.
Yeah.
Say, I'll be with you right when I'm done.
Yeah. And
that usually gets a different reaction out of your children.
Of course.
Rather than shooing them out and being like, get out of the office, I'm on a Zoom. That's not the right way to do it. It's the same thing with like what I've learned with now recently the past couple of weeks was like Leo, if he's acting bad, right, to a sense, not sending him to his room.
Right. She doesn't believe in this. It's his shame. It costs
You won't want the room to be associated with bad, because then they don't want to sleep. They don't want to be in their room.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So if he's acting out or yelling or screaming or frustrated with something and you want to send him to his room, what I've been doing with him lately is like, hey, do you want me to listen to you about something?
Yeah. Good job.
Me to give you advice on something. And he will be like, I just want you to listen to me. And I'll let him get it all like, oh, and then we keep it moving. And it's like game changer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
Pretty cool.
No real need for punishment, especially that's her, and it's also, it's like you're having big feelings. Let me acknowledge your big feelings instead of shaming you and punishing you for having big feelings. Or she also says is give them the tools before they have the big feelings, before they hit their brother. Why don't we give them the tools and say, when you're having a big feeling, take a deep breath. That's a tool, sweetheart, or walk away. That's another tool, which is, it doesn't dawn on us sometimes because of the way we were raised or just old, old narratives, but there's new ways. And I think it's awesome. There's people like that.
It's patience too, right? It's like actually like being in the moment and diffusing yourself and being able to like chill out before you react, which I'm not great at. I'm trying to get better.
It's hard too, right? Because like you could just be on like you're trying to get a call or you're trying to be middle of a sentence or typing, and again, this is all new territory for us, right?
Yeah.
This hasn't been studied. There's no books on this shit yet. Right? We're all going through trial and error of this new lifestyle.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But it is interesting. Yeah, I love it.
Well, you can get a watch off Amazon in 12 hours.
That he loves as much as if it was an AP. That's amazing. Yeah.
That's great. Brian, thank you so much for being with us.
I just want to ask one quick question before we jump. So what advice would you give somebody that's just starting out, like trying to really improve their life? Somebody who's not waking up every morning at 4:30 a.m. like yourself and crushing a workout and doing all of the things. What's a good piece of advice to somebody who's really just trying to start their journey to live better?
I think it's actually a very simple piece of advice that you have to start slow. If you go too big too fast in anything in life, it usually doesn't last. So if you have 15 drinks a week, let's scale it down to 9. And then after a couple of weeks from there, let's scale it back to 6. And then let's work from there. So it's just like dieting, right? Dieting is not about cutting everything out. It's just about minimizing all of the bad shit as much as you can until you can cut it out.
Yeah.
You're not going to run tomorrow a marathon. So if you want to start running, for example, walk a quarter mile, run a half a mile, or whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Because the slow wins are more important than fast wins. The slow wins compound, and they turn into big wins later down the road. I learned that the hard way many different times, getting injured, getting hurt, getting discouraged. Go slow. Take your time. No one really gives a shit also. No one's really watching. No one really cares.
Yeah.
They're dealing with their own shit. So love yourself. Take your time. Don't be too hard on yourself. Only get really hard on yourself when you've got it all figured out, when you think you got it figured out. And then beat yourself up to go harder.
Excellent advice. Yeah.
It's great advice. And I want to close us out here because I am a firm believer that, you know, if people are adding anything to your life and having a positive impact on your life, you should let them know that. You should give people their flowers. Brian, you've been an inspiration for...
Also, go ahead. Eliminate the people in your life that are not going to champion you.
Yo, that's huge.
That are not going to support your new journey.
Yes.
And sometimes a lot of those people are the ones closest to you.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's so true.
Be prepared for that because it's like the old Italian guys. I'm Italian, so I can say this. What's the matter? You trying to better yourself? No, idiot. I'm trying to sit on the stoop with you until I'm 70. Yeah, and better myself.
I love that.
Don't so true. Old Italian guy.
Right. Make you feel
love it.
You feel guilty for something. Yeah.
What's the matter? You're not drinking tonight?
Right.
No, moral. I want to run tomorrow and become better.
I want these conversations myself. Yeah. Oh my God. So true.
It's so true. So listen, in the middle of giving you your flowers, I was rudely interrupted by you, but I'll allow it. Brian, it's been really amazing to have you as a friend, have you to continually to inspire me. And that goes for so many other people, because even with my intro, I did not do your pioneering and innovation in just the health and wellness space any justice. And I commend you because you are one of by far the most disciplined people I have ever met. And at the end of the day, you ain't scared of shit. So I appreciate you. And we love having you on this podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Same to you, dude. Like, you know, we met a long time ago and the same hustle and bustle, but we've always treated each other with respect in everything we've done. And that's a really important thing, which I think has gone out of hand in this world, is that people don't truly respect their peers and their other acquaintances, and everything is very transactional these days, and it's how can you help me, and that's it. And we've always kept it real. We've always kept it 100 with each other, right? We've just had fun, and that's important, right? Life is about relationships. It's about sustaining them, and I just want to be around great people.
And I think that's another thing, like Erica and I really are inspired to bring together great people too. And Brian, we've done that, you know, with many different relationships. Like, we're just trying to add value and make the world a better place and spread positivity and really have a positive impact on the world. I'm super excited that you've had a chance to meet Erica, and thank you so much for joining us.
I need therapy, so I'll be calling you.
Okay, good. Anytime. Thank you, Brian.
All right, brother.
Thank you
so much.